was not the expected. I don't think anybody expected that result. That score. Well, I think some people expected the result, but maybe not the scoreline completely.
Yeah, keeping Cass scoreless for 79 minutes was a unexpected part of it.
Absolutely. But let's go back to the start, because we want to get the whole experience of the day. We encountered you actually on our way to now was it Dockyard or
Dockyard? Yeah.
The Dockyard in Media City, as you and your granddad were on the train, didn't we? So talk us through kind of what had gone on before that. You were coming over from Leeds that day, were you?
Yeah. So my granddad got to ours the night before. We had an early night, and then we decided to get an early train. So we had a bit of breakfast, got straight on the train. And obviously I decided to wear the Rhino outfit, the lucky Rhino outfit, as we won Wembley with it the last time I wore it.
Struck again.
Yeah, exactly. So I've actually said to my granddad that I'm going to buy him one if we get to the grand final this year, next year. So then obviously we got off the train, had a beer, got on the tram, and then met you guys, and then went to the pub for a mini SLP meal, which was lovely to meet SLP people, big and small.
Well, yeah.
It was a parade of giants, wasn't it, at one point?
That will be covered up, but it was quite the lineup.
But as far as you and your granddad were concerned at that point, then you must have talked about the game and build up to the match and everything that had been kind of going on with the rumours and the half-truths that had been coming out about Zach Hardaker's involvement. Where did you two stand sort of pre-match and earlier in the morning in terms of how you thought Leeds were going to get on, and had either of you predicted a Rhinos win? What was the feeling in the Hodgson camp?
No, to be honest, we went in feeling that we wouldn't win, but we were happy with where we were compared to last season. I personally also felt that the Tigers deserved something. They deserved a proper trophy, as I'd like to call it, because of the way that they played all season. You know, barring the last few games, they've been phenomenal, and you can't say anything about that. We were on a packed train to Manchester, full of Cass Tigers fans, full of Leeds fans, and that is all anybody was speaking about was Zach. It dominated the media, dominated every. You spoke about all the rugby coverage was about Zach not being there, and so it sort of took a little bit away from the day in the morning. But once the game got started, you were fine.
Fantastic. So we get to the stadium, fills with Cass and Leeds fans. One end blue, one end orange. Do they say orange or do they say amber? They say amber, but it's orange, to be fair, isn't it? At the minute, it hasn't been an amber kit for quite some time. And the end's filled up, and all the pomp and ceremony. What are you laughing at? All the pomp and ceremony takes place. The game kicks off, and Cass Tigers start by putting a bit of pressure on Leeds, and there was a period of time where, whilst they had a lot of ball in hand and they were controlling things, they never quite got to your line, but it looked like they were the team in control until they weren't really. We had to be defensive. Yeah, the first sort of 10 minutes they came out like a rocket, and Cass do have this period of we'll do a 10-minute stint and we'll put a couple on, and so that first 10 minutes we had to back ourselves. They came quite close. They made a few breaks, and then it sort of like died off a little bit. And I haven't watched it back on Sky yet, but I don't think the Sky coverage would have just shown just how much it rained.
It did.
We were obviously with my granddad. We were in the wheelchair section, and they came around with what's the things they give you on the front there?
Oh, the ponchos.
Right? Yeah, they gave you ponchos because it was so bad. Like the distance was, people were getting soaked, and so to have that on the pitch, you knew that there was going to be lots of ball handling errors. You knew there were going to be people were going to drop stuff and slip, and so it was just a game of controlling. And I think that for me, that's what it was. That was the major issue.
Mm. So after that period of time, then Leeds ultimately took the lead, didn't they? That Danny Maguire kick to the air that Tom Briscoe grounded. It took a video referee decision to confirm it, though, and got you guys in the lead. And it wasn't long after that you went over for your second score as well. So at that point, with things edging towards 10-0, how did you feel?
Not very good, because we have a habit of going out in front and doing a 12-point lead and then fucking up at some point. So I was feeling all right. I was feeling happy that we got a couple of scores, but I'm very much like there's always a way for us to mess up. Like we can be two scores in front, and in the last 10 minutes we can mess it up. So I wasn't confident at all. I was pleased that we got a score on the board. I couldn't believe that Castleford didn't take that too when they were in front of ours.
Yeah.
Just for the mentality thing of getting 2 points of being in the lead, geeing up the crowd, which was another thing that I was surprised about, just how quiet the Castleford crowd was after the first 10 minutes. You know, I've been, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been at the Jungle, I've been at places where even the team have been losing, not been at the Jungle for a while and they've been losing, but, you know, and you can still hear them, you can still hear them roar, and it was really quiet.
Yeah, that was definitely a factor, wasn't it? The size of the pitch is something that people have talked about as well, in terms of the way that Castleford had set up to play, with particularly the width of the pitch, if not the length of it. It seemed to me that was having an effect on their game, along with perhaps being on the back foot as well. But you never really let them get a foothold in the game in terms of scoring points. They had periods of control, but you were able to defend that very well. And into the second half with a drop goal and some two scores ahead.
I think the right on the stroke of half time.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into the half with the Maguire drop goal right on the hooter sort of thing?
That was a nice touch. It was. You know, that's a milestone, because it's a score on a bit. You know, it's not just one last minute. We've got to do that and then do something else. So we went into our half-time pint feeling much happier, and it was nice to come out to the second half and feel a bit more confident.
So into the second half then, and obviously you started to turn the screw a little bit on the Cast Tigers, and handling errors really started to play a factor, didn't they? I'm looking at the Spilled Eden try, or the Spilled Greg Eden spilling the ball for your second proper try, and obviously Joel Moon getting away as well to put Briscoe over for his second of the game. You started to pull away, really. Did you ever start to think that Cass were going to mount any kind of comeback, or were you at this point started to allow yourself to dare to dream a little bit?
When it got to 20 minutes too, and they still hadn't scored, and they hadn't really shown any signs of dominance. Like, when we came around to the second half, when we first started, I was, there's that thing where Cass are going to have a dominant 10-15 minutes. Cass are going to come out, Powell's going to bollock them, they're going to come out, and they're going to show something. But, again, I think the rain made both teams change the style of play. And the thing about Cass all season is they've not been afraid to throw it around and back themselves. So if they drop the ball, they've got the defence to hold it. And that they didn't. They just went for 5 drives and a kick, and that's not the style they've been playing all season. They're almost afraid to throw it.
Well, whenever they did, they dropped it.
Well, yeah, no wonder.
Yeah, because they weren't throwing it enough, and that is what. Well, that's my opinion. Why they lost. I think psychologically, the things with Zach and stuff like that will have been on their mind, especially with how big of a thing it is now. But there's a whole team culture there, and that didn't suit their game style whatsoever. So
at 17-0, you were feeling pretty confident, and that the win was coming then, obviously with Cass not getting back into things. But probably right in front of you, the sort of final try of the game will have been scored, wasn't it, by Danny Maguire? What was the feelings at that stage?
That was like just jubilation. Well, actually, it was really good, and then your first thought was, all right, let's give Burrows a try. And then,
bastards.
It felt like for the last 10 minutes that the leagues were just doing everything to try and give Burrows the ball and let him have a try for his last one. There was a suggestion that we could just let him kick the conversion for Maguire's try, but they didn't let him do that.
I'm surprised, actually. That's a good shout. Right, we won't talk about Cass's try. It was a fun try to watch, but it didn't matter in the end. What were your feelings when the hooter went? Just,
to be honest, shock. That was not what I was expecting at all. And in the wheelchair section, you have Cass fans and you have Leeds fans as well. And we had a good chat with some of them, and they weren't happy at all. They were, a lot of them left before a lot of them left before Cass scored that last try.
Wow, yeah.
Which is a bit disappointing for them. But yeah, just partly I can't believe we've won. This is the greatest day ever, because this is actually the first grand final in about 10 years that I've been to in person, and that's so. And I will say that the facilities at the Old Trafford are, fantastic for wheelchairs and disabilities. But partly for that, I'm partly thinking, oh shit, I've got to get the train home, and it's going to be a long way. But no, we'd do it again tomorrow. Absolutely. How
was Grandad for the trophy presentation and all of the celebrations?
Just ecstatic. I'm really pleased to be there. Really, really, when we do Wembley every year, he loves doing it. He loves going to every rugby match, but the grand finals are really special, and especially as neither of us thought we'd actually be taking that trophy home.
So a couple of important players retiring or moving on to pastures new for you, Maguire and Burrow.
Yeah.
Do you think that this puts you in a position where you're going to be transitional next year? How do you view the future for the Rhinos? Competitive and looking at reaching grand finals again, or are you preparing yourself for some turnover and a more transitional season next year? What do you think you can realistically expect?
Well, I thought we'd be fifth this year, so what the fuck do I know?
It's all right, we took Warrington.
Yeah.
So you're actually better placed than we are.
And we will do again next year.
Yes.
We've got, to be honest, I think we've got a few years of transitional years left. We've got someone like Delaney. We've got Ablett, who, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but had sort of like 4 tackles in a row, and just was, I'm sure Dr. Bob with the Cal Ablett fan club will be very happy with that. He was, he came out on the bench and he did his job. But
can't say no.
You've got JJ. You've got JJB.
He wasn't great in the first half, but he was great in the second half.
Yeah.
In his spell, I would agree with that.
Definitely.
I reckon we've got 3 or 4 players that will be leaving next season. I think some of them would have left this season, but the PR nightmare of having 3 players leaving a season again after what happened last time, I think they were just saying, please do a couple more games. I honestly can't tell. I think, I'd like to say back here, because if you look at what Brian McDermott said it the other day, we've added 1 player to the roster since we since we got into the Middle Eights. We only had 1 player. Now we are going to lose Maguire, and Maguire has shown. I mean, in that last game, in that grand final, lots of Leeds fans were saying, "Can we keep him?"
Yeah, of course.
But again, we've got to think to the future. We've got to think about the next golden generation.
Well,
so we've got to think about Walker. You've got to think about Lily. We've got to think about Golding. Where do these fit in? And if we keep these old players, they're not going to get the game time.
True. Very good. Well, listen, Dom.
Don't worry too much about next year yet, and enjoy the
celebrations. Exactly. Enjoy the afterglow for a little while. Yeah, and thank you very much for coming on and for all your contributions.
If I could just say one thing before we. Sorry. Don't mean to overtake the show, lads, but it's my show now. On the Sunday morning after the grand final, I actually went to Martin House, which is the charity I've been raising money for, to see what it basically just catch up with some of where the money's been going. And the lead fundraiser came up to me and she just said, she knew exactly what we've been up to, exactly what we've been doing. And so I just want to say a big thank you to everybody in the SLP family. And a lot of you gave money to the stupid runs that I've been doing this year. And so it really does mean a lot. The SLP is the greatest rugby league podcast I listen to, and the greatest podcast.
That's very well qualified.
Yes. And the community around it, I love you all. Even you, Fat Boy Rob.
Well, that was one of my favourite moments of the show. Listen, of the meet-up. Listen, Dom, thank you so much for all your time, and I'll reiterate everything as well. Thank you for your commitment to getting in touch with us and everything that you personally bring to the podcast as well. It's without people like you, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you very, very much for joining us. And with some luck from your point of view, hopefully you'll join us again next year for a similar conversation.
Well, a World Club Challenge follow-up, hopefully, and then we'll have you and Grandad on the show in a year's time too.
Yeah. Thank you both. See you soon, mate.
Nice one, Dom. Bye. Thanks a lot. Okay, so thanks again to Dom. wasn't the only person at the game by any stretch of the imagination, and he was far from the only person to get in touch with their views, Mark.
Yeah, it was a great response. We start with a Leeds fan.